Yo, 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 B216. All right, today we're going to talk LeBron James, Stephen A. Smith. We're going to talk about players are old, players are today. We'll get a little bit into it. All right, so let's just start this out with the whole LeBron Stephen A. talk. Okay, start with LeBron and Stephen. Let me know if I can turn the music down. But first, we're going to dive into Stephen A. and LeBron. Now, recently, Stephen A. Smith has been under a lot of scrutiny by his peers at ESPN. He's been under scrutiny by LeBron James and Draymond Green and several other players. Okay. Now, what we're here to do is we're not here to take sides, even though it may sound like I'm taking a side, but we're going to dive into this and be truthfully honest. Okay. Stephen, this all started. Let's just give you guys a timeline. So, we all know what's going on with Stephen A. Smith and LeBron James. LeBron James feels as if Stephen A. Smith was uh, degrading LeBron's son, or acting as if he didn't deserve to be in the league. And that's not. I feel like a lot of things were taken out of context. Okay, so let's start by saying this. Bronny James at USC went through a traumatic health problem where could have lost his life. We're glad he made it through. He had some type of birth defects from childbirth with his heart. He made it through that, and he's playing in the NBA now. But the problem that LeBron James has with Stephen A. is Stephen A. called LeBron out. Well, he didn't even call him out, I would say. He asked him father to father to not put a target on your son's back, or just stop doing what you're doing, because it is creating a target on your son's back. And what he was alluding to, you can't name many other draft picks who have been drafted, whether it be the 55th pick or whatever pick it is, that have been drafted after a serious health issue as such. You know, now LeBron James Jr. was going to be under scrutiny anyway, just because of who his father is. Stephen A. was only trying to lose. Hey, you saying that he's better than most players in the league is going to put a target on his back. Much like when LeVar Ball said the same thing about Lonzo, which it did put a target on him. You also said wherever he gets drafted, I will play. Knowing that team will have interest. So you did do things to raise your son's draft stock. Nobody is saying that LeBron James is wrong for doing that. Nobody is saying he's wrong for thinking his son is better than him. I'm a father myself. I would believe in my son. I can't say that I would do the things LeBron did, but I mean, I can't blame him for doing that as a father and giving his son an opportunity after all of the work he's put in and done in the NBA. But the issue is people keep ignoring the fact that when you do things like that, it does create a target and a narrative about yourself. It makes it almost look as if your son got in just off of your coach. And Bronny James actually has talent. So we're not going to act like he doesn't, and we're not going to disrespect that kid like that. Okay? What we're here to do is get to the point where the everything is being misconstrued. So Stephen A. said that. He asked him, you're putting a target on his back. Please stop. You know, Bronny James gets drafted. I feel like Bronny was not receiving enough consistent playing time, and rightfully so. JJ Redick is a first-year head coach. He needs to prove himself and get acclimated to the league. He didn't really have, the time or center stage to just let LeBron and Bronny have the floor. His job is to win the championship for the Lakers. Um, Of course, they got Luca in the trade, but that's neither here nor there. Bronny James did not play, all of that well in his NBA debut or anything like that, but he was killing in the G League, which shows you he definitely belongs in the league for sure. Um, he just needed more consistent playing time. Yeah, I feel like to get adjusted to the game, but he didn't play well. He played in a game against Philadelphia where he did not perform well. Other people, not just Stephen, had a vitriol of things to say about Bronny James. Chandler Parsons is one of them. And if you want to find out what he said, you could look it up and you could, find out what he said for yourself. I mean, I'll look it up and I'll give you a quote. Yeah, see, Chandler Parsons. If you just type it in on YouTube, Chandler Parsons on point goes off. He, LeBron James was upset with Chandler Parsons, but he didn't have the vitriol. And we're not going there about who he should have had vitriol for, but Stephen A. Smith is not the only person who had to cover the league, cover the game that Bronny had. He did have a bad game. It just is a fact. And this is what, a lot of people allude to by the new players and a lot of people doing this. You have a bad game and someone calls you out for it. They're a hater or like, how dare you say that about me? The work I put in behind the scenes and everything. Nobody's taking that away from you, but they're just covering what they see. He had a bad game. LeBron James checked Stephen A. And Stephen A said he thought it was a weak move for him to approach him the way he did. And to be quite frank and honest, I'm not gonna say whether I feel like it was good or not because we're not gonna get into that because it doesn't sound like I'm picking a side. But what I will say is LeBron James is a very smart individual. He could have pulled Stephen A. Smith to the side. He could have waited till after he had Marquise Morris with him, standing right by him when he went to go check Stephen A. That happened. You being LeBron James, you know everything that you do under a microscope, and everyone's gonna see it, and they're gonna ask Stephen A about it, and they did. And Stephen A spoke on it. He said he thought it was a weak move, um, and he proceeded to explain what he meant by his comments about Brown. What he meant uh, about Bronny James not performing well. He alluded to the fact that he didn't cover Bronny James because he didn't want to put that target on his back because he already knew the kid was going to have an insurmountable amount of pressure on him just because he was LeBron James. And then you get LeBron James going on Pat McAfee's show and responding. You get Draymond Green, antagonizing Stephen A. and saying what he said. And, where I'm from, people will put hands on you. Let me remind you guys, Draymond is from, I believe he's from Lansing or Detroit, Michigan. You can't quote me on it. I just know he's from Michigan. It is a pretty rough place. I have family up there. I've been to New York as well, and that's where Stephen A. is from. You could say, where you're from, they put hands on people, but where Stephen A. is from, they do the same thing as well. So that point was really like, like everybody kind of antagonizing Stephen A. saying like, hey, he got in your face and you didn't do anything, like, and that's like kind of corny. And I feel like as black men, not even just as black men, as people, individual souls, we all need to stop that. Yes, did he get checked in front of a lot of people? Yeah. How he responded, I don't have a problem with. I feel like he should have responded in that manner because Stephen A. Smith had just received $100 million for his contract that day. He's courtside with one of my favorite teams. What did you expect me to do besides nod and listen to him? Because, like Stephen A. alluded to, This isn't a player. This isn't LeBron coming at me. To Stephen A, in his eyes, it's this is a father talking to me as a father. Okay, and he has a problem with something I did as a father. Okay, perfectly fine, right? Um, After LeBron James, said what he said, had what he had to say on Pat McAfee show about him and Tidy Whitey. You got people all saying, yeah, he didn't keep that same energy. He didn't get rowdy with LeBron. Why does somebody have to get rowdy? Why couldn't he have been a civilized man and realized that, hey, this is a father who is, he feels that I said something wrong about his son and maybe he got it misconstrued and I wasn't coming for your son. Stephen A is a bit aggressive and he said, I was coming for you, and which I feel like was the wrong word. And that's why this is continuing. But what he was alluding to is, hey, as a dad, man to man, you're putting a target on your son back. And I would ask you to stop because it's making it to where people are going to have to cover your son, such as myself and other people. And you're not going to like what we have to say because he's not performing, which he wasn't. Now, you got Draymond Green rebuttaling back. Everybody pulls up this old footage of Stephen A when he broke his rotator cuff. He was working out, getting back in shape, trying to throw punches. Yeah. I'm not saying that Stephen A would beat LeBron up right now. But what I am saying is he's from New York. It's a pretty tough place. Just like right up the street, Akron. It ain't even Cleveland, Ohio, but we'll get into that. And Michigan is pretty tough. New York is a tough place too. Okay. And people take one part of a clip and think that's what it said. They didn't allude to the fact that Stephen A said, yeah, LeBron would have kicked my you know what, and but if he would have swung on me, I would have swung immediately right back. Now, people, you can't ride the fence and be it. You can't say that, oh, he didn't buck up with LeBron. He didn't get tough with LeBron. But then, in the same sense, expect a man to say, yeah, he would beat me up. But as a man, I would have swung back on him. Now it's wrong. Oh, no, he said he would have swung on LeBron. He would have beat LeBron up. No, 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 no. Dollar that. Okay. As a man, pridefully, if somebody swings on you, you're going to swing back. That's just, what most men would do, in that situation. They would defend themselves, rightfully so. That's all Stephen A. Smith was saying. So now you get people trolling him on the internet. You got these clips. You have a whole bunch of followers saying, "Not wow, the man this fell off." Um, you know, you got footage of him and Shanae Agumake, not seeing eye to eye about, WNBA, CBA agreement. You got Molly Curran calling out Stephen A today, saying he wasn't talking basketball when Draymond Green started to allude to the fact that he feels old players don't have to respect the new generation, but they have to respect them as far. See, the new players, such as LeBron, are being disrespectful to they're being disrespectful to Stephen A, the old players, and everybody as such, right? So let me explain how that works and how that happens, right? Um, these players today, you say one thing bad about them or like, he had a bad game. Now, I'm not saying this is true all the time, but Stephen A has had some very controversial takes. I've been upset with something he said because you attack people personally and you do take things personally sometimes. He's admitted to it. But right now, in this sense, he is right. Okay. The players of the old have paved the way for players in ways that, like, like it's just like kind of like, and I hate to give this example because it's like comparing apples to oranges. So you have, it is like compare apples to oranges. So like, let's just, for example, okay, nobody kill me about this, but Rosa Parks refused to sit at the back of the bus, right? It will be disrespectful or people could say it's disrespectful for us as black people to sit at the back of the bus because she paved the way for us to not have to. You get what I'm saying? Like it's kind of like this. Like they did play 82 games. They didn't take off the load management. They played through injury, and not saying that today's players haven't played through injury because a lot of them have and a lot of them do. But what they're alluding to is we did a lot. We went through a lot of scrutiny, and we didn't respond to that. You know what I'm saying? And like, so you got Michael Jordan was scrutinized. His gambling addiction is the reason why his father got killed. And that wasn't true. He was scrutinized for Atlantic City. He was scrutinized for being a bad teammate and punching Steve Kerr. But he had scrutiny. He overcame that adversity and just played and won. You know what I'm saying? So like that is what it is. You know what I'm saying? So you can't really hate on today's. I mean, not today. You can't hate on the players of old for feeling like disrespected by the players of today because they are kind of disrespected. Like like the standard they held themselves to, the participation in the All Star game, all of the things that they did to pave the way for these guys. You know what I'm saying? And it is taken for granted. Just look up when you guys get a chance. There was some rapper I can't remember his name. KD schooled him on Michael Jordan. He was like, yeah, you know what? Michael Jordan is the GOAT. MJ is the GOAT. Because we're about to get off of this whole Stephen A. and LeBron. I said what I needed to say about that. We're not gonna keep going into that. Stephen A. just said what he said, and a lot of it has been taken out of context. A lot of it has been clipped to make it seem like he just said he was swing on LeBron, but they take out the fact that he said LeBron will whoop his butt. You know, so we're not gonna keep going down that list. A lot of that is misconstrued and taken out of context. LeBron needs to realize there are people who have said far worse about this. Now, let's get into the other part of it. LeBron James does not like Stephen A. And Stephen A alludes to it all the time on the show. And it's because Stephen A has him number two all time in the GOAT debate. And whether people will want to admit it or not, I'm going to keep it real with you guys. And this is very controversial. I don't have LeBron number two. I don't. I can't. And I'm going to tell you guys why. We'll get into this GOAT talk first. We'll get into this GOAT talk right now. Okay. Let's just run off some things right here. Okay. I got Magic Johnson. Why? Magic Johnson won a championship as a rookie. Yes, he had the great Kareem Abdul-Jabbar as a teammate, but that's gonna play into my case a little bit more too. Kareem was out. Magic had to hit a shot. There should be a level of points given when you win as a rookie because it's very tough to do. It's very tough to even survive in the NBA. Yet alone, you and Larry Bird, your rivalry bring life into the league, and then you actually come in the league and perform and actually win a championship as a rookie. Stellar. And he has 5 rings, same amount as Kobe. And I love Kobe. That's my birthday to him. You know what I'm saying? But man, Magic did what he did. He did what he did. He won as a rookie. And that's why I have him in. Minor the health issues he went through, he could have won more. Okay. So I would have Magic as my all-time. And let me tell you why I don't have LeBron number one just because it's Kareem Abdul-Jabbar led the league. Like he had that record in points. And like there's a few people who consider him right. Like people from older eras went to like here and there. You got Shaq. Or I think Shaq likes Elijah Wan. There's few people who thought he was the GOAT. He didn't have the championships Jordan had. He did have the most points, but there should be something said about how you win and the dominance of it that goes into it. You should get credit for that. If LeBron gets credit for longevity and doing it for his 21, what is it, 22 seasons, uh if he gets credit for that, if he gets credit for the 21, 22 seasons he's put in the league and only having four championships and falling short of the person he was chasing, that should take account into this GOAT debate. It really should. um you can't just never mind that. And just because he has like most points ever doesn't mean I should give him the GOAT status. Of course, I would expect it. Like, you're not a scrub. You're LeBron James. If you played as long as you have, like, I would expect you to eclipse Michael Jordan and a lot of these players with longevity. I mean, you've been scoring, you've been doing a lot of these things. So this is what's expected from LeBron James. Okay. Um, but LeBron James doesn't have a scoring title. Never has won one. It's just simple math, you guys. Like, if you've been doing something longer than anyone else is doing it and you're great at it, of course you should eventually eclipse some of the greats. This is fact. Like, you should. That's just simple math. Okay. Um, okay. So we got that out the way. LeBron James has never won the scoring title. Um, he hasn't won a defensive player of the year. See, we're not just gonna focus on the title crisis. We're gonna explain why, because people will throw up, oh, he has the most points. Was Jordan playing like this at that age? No. As a matter of fact, let me tell you something about Jordan. So LeBron gets credit for doing it in longevity, but Jordan doesn't get credit for winning 3 years in a row, right? Taking a break. His father passes. He goes to play baseball, comes back to the league. And once he comes back to the league, he was wearing number 45. Somebody said 45 ain't it to him. He went back to 23 and won 3 more. Okay. Left the league for a little bit. He comes back to play for Washington because he is trying to become a owner of the NBA team, and that was part of the stipulation for him to become owner. No, he wasn't still great at that age. No, he wasn't all of these things. Okay. We're not gonna hold that against LeBron. We're not gonna hold that against Jordan. I can't be mad at him. Look at what he did in the time he did. He's won a scoring title, Defensive Player of the Year, and Finals MVP with the MVP all in the same season. Who else do you know? Nobody has done that. So I get nobody has done what LeBron is doing now, but nobody else has done what Mike did. He also led the league in steals. He was a true two-way player, a Defensive Player of the Year, MVP. Like, you cannot gloss over these things. Yes, LeBron has the most points scored ever because he's been playing the game at a higher level than people for a longer period of time. So that's just simple math. I would expect that. He's never had a scoring title. He's never led the league in scoring. And his record in the finals, if I'm not mistaken, he's lost 6 times. And nobody wants to bring it up. I get it. I'm a scrub. I've never played at that high of a level like LeBron. Okay, whatever. I'm wrong with that. I haven't done it. But LeBron, he did lose to the Mavericks. Stephen A is right about that. Right? I'm not gonna blame LeBron completely for the All-Star game or lack thereof, but he's had his shortcomings. Remember when there was all those Kobe and LeBron commercials? Who is it? Is it Kobe? Is it Bron? Is it Kobe? Is it Bron? Well, in the All-Star game, they were going back and forth. Kobe was giving them buckets. LeBron gave him some buckets back. And then Kobe kind of locked it up. Shout out to him. And LeBron was supposed to take the last shot, and he passed it. And Melo was looking like, no, Ron, you were supposed to shoot it. Ever since then, felt like LeBron really didn't care for that, like the All Star game or anything like that. He promised us a dunk competition. I always wanted to see him in a dunk competition. And make no mistake, growing up, LeBron was my favorite player. I mean, I'm from Cleveland. So, of course, growing up, he was my favorite player. He did leave us, and the way he left was very destroyed. I wasn't one burning the jersey or anything, but it was, hey, I'm rocking with who's here. Okay? And but yeah, this whole GOAT debate, I'm sorry, like I just can't put LeBron over Magic Johnson. A lot of people, and this is why I feel like people don't even do their history of the game. I really go back and I love history. Like it's my favorite subject. Well, one of them. That's the band. But I really have watched these old games. I know the history of the game, and that's why I can't put LeBron over Magic. Magic won as a rookie. Get some credit for that. He has 5 championships and would have had more argue minor the health issues. Kobe Bryant also has 5 championships, and people hate when I bring this up. But Kobe Bryant won a championship without a top 10 player on his roster. Paul Gasol was not a top 10 player in the league. Kobe, neither was Lamar. Can't make that argument. They were not top 10. I could easily name 10 other people who were better than those guys at the time. Probably averaged more. They were all stars. They were just better talent than those people. LeBron did have the ring, Cleveland champion, Chris Bosh. I'm not fronting on him for going to team up with those guys. Paul Pierce, Ray Allen, and Kevin Garnett team, and that was a very tough deal. Boston has been known for being a team that knows how to build a team and have a stacked roster to guarantee their victory. So I can never front on LeBron James for going to get help and go win the title because we didn't get it for him here in Cleveland. And actually, from what I'm hearing now, because I watch so much NBA stuff, I'm hearing that all 3 of them were actually supposed to go to New York, but New York messed up and paid Amari Stoudemire and made it to where, Bron and D Wade didn't want to go play with Stoudemire. They wanted Chris Bosh, so they went to play with D Wade in Miami, rightfully so. But Bron being the GOAT, I'm sorry, you guys. He lost to that Mavericks team. That was an old Mavericks team with J Kidd, Dirk Nowitzki, Jason Terry, and like Stephen A said, he got locked up by JJ Barrett. He's my height. Like, you know what I'm saying? Averaged 2.2 in the fourth quarter. We gotta talk about what we seen. We seen it with our eyes. It's not like I'm hating on LeBron. But I'm speaking facts. He lost that first year to a team that they should not have lost to, arguably, right? But that was a great thing, great Mavericks. Okay. You win 2 more you win 2 in Miami. You lose to the Spurs again. You come back here to Cleveland. Kyrie gets hurt that first year. You don't win, so you didn't win without. And Kyrie, to me, this is to me, okay? Because there's a lot of Kyrie slander that goes on. That's a live for a whole another video. Because I can fluently talk about Kyrie Irving's career and how he's been short. You know what I'm saying? Kyrie is a spectacular talent. But the year Kyrie went down and Kevin Love was out that year too as well, LeBron did not beat the Warriors. It's just a simple fact. Didn't win. Next year, Kyrie is there. He wins. Next year, Kyrie is there, but the Warriors get KD. We're in Cleveland. We lose again. Kyrie kind of wanted the team to start building around him and get some younger players, which they didn't. He was promised, to be given the keys essentially. LeBron would kind of take a backseat to him, which didn't happen. He was uncomfortable with a lot of the commentary about him being the kid, or LeBron being a parental figure. A lot of these things any man would take some problem with. And he wanted to prove himself. Which, who wouldn't? Like Kobe Bryant wanted to prove himself without Shaq. Shaq wanted to prove himself without Kobe. Can't fault Kyrie for leaving. Then LeBron leaves for LA, and also everybody, even as fans, we all knew LeBron was going to LA. When Space Jam, all of the rumors would come, all of us here in Cleveland knew LeBron was going to LA. So I already know Kyrie knew. So of course he wanted to. He didn't want to not play without LeBron and have an old roster and have to go through losing again. And then the legacy on his career be, oh, he lost in Cleveland before LeBron got there, and he lost when LeBron left. No, he went to Boston, and actually he won and was doing pretty good in Boston. We're just gonna touch on that real quick. The problem wasn't Kyrie in Boston. They had a very loaded roster. When Kyrie went down, Terry Rozier proved himself. A lot of those players were on contract years and were playing for a bigger contract. Gordon Hayward, who was supposed to be the other star, got injured tragically, and I believe their first game. The next year he comes back, he's starting over Jason Tatum, even though everybody knows he should not be. But him and Brad Stevens had the connection from their days at I can't think of his name now. Don't Butler, I would say. But yeah, uh, they had their time in college, so that's why he got to start over Jason Tatum, which we can clearly see today. Which I was telling people back then, he should not be starting over that. But whatever the case may be, LeBron gets Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis is easily at that time top five, not even top 10, top five. Um, he wins another championship. Uh, After that, struggled. Now he's but fact of the matter is, you guys, we gotta put more respect on their team. There are accolades that LeBron doesn't have that Michael Jordan does have. Like, I'm about to look this up. I'm gonna look up. We're gonna look up and see what's Michael Jordan career achievements. Okay, so for Michael Jeffrey Jordan, eh? Eh? We have 6 NBA championships, 6 NBA Finals MVPs, and he never lost. Why can't he get credit for never losing? Like, you should get extra points for never losing. If you get to the big dance and you never lose, and especially if you do it back to back, take a break, play a whole nother sport, and then come back and dominate again. Why he don't get credit for that no more? Why we want to act like LeBron ain't want to be like Mike, or everybody ain't want to be like Mike, or we all don't wear his shoes? Let's stop the disrespect. Or like Mike didn't create opportunities for players in the league today to get paid what they are paid. Like, he didn't go to the front office and say, hey, the way that they are playing needs to stop so the game can flourish. So I could be Air Jordan. You could have players and have a more entertaining brand of basketball. But let's keep going. 6 NBA championships, 6 Finals MVPs, 5 NBA MVPs, 10 scoring titles. Did you just hear what I said? 10 scoring titles. LeBron has never even had one of those. 10 All NBA first selections, 9 All Defensive first team selections, 14 All Star selections. Man, 10 scoring titles is crazy. Yo, like, it don't matter if he never had the most points. We didn't even have to play that long. Why would I have to play that long if I done dominated, won everything? I'm bored with this. Every time I do this, I win. Ever since I started winning, I won. And see, that's the problem I have. People always bring up, oh, Michael Jordan had Scottie Pippen. Without Scottie, he never won. Okay. So it's fair to judge Michael Jordan off before Scottie Pippen got there, but it's not fair to judge LeBron James before he won in Miami with Dwayne Wade. Before LeBron got somebody who was talented enough to help him, he didn't win. He made it to the finals. He didn't win. Okay. Yeah, he made it. Cool. Give him some kudos. Mike got one guy that he could run with, and it was over. Once he won, once he got that first taste of blood, it was over with. It was over with. He just kept winning. He never lost. He never lost. Never lost. Okay. And he got Defensive Player of the Year in 1980, which he wasn't a champion at the time. So I lied. He wasn't a champion at the time. But to have a Defensive Player of the Year is still something that does not happen or is as great as he is. Right? Okay. So that's Michael Jordan. Now let's compare it to LeBron and see where things come up short. Because I mean we're just comparing. I'm just stating what I seen, what's on what I see in front of me, what's on paper. Like we're just gonna talk about it. That's all. That's, that's all. LeBron James career achievements. LeBron has 4 NBA championships, 4 NBA Finals MVPs. Which I'm gonna keep it real with y'all. Okay. Now this is where y'all gonna say I'm a hater, right? I don't believe he should have won. Okay, look, and I know his stat line was so crazy here with me, but I don't believe he should have won Finals MVP that year. That Cleveland won, and let me just explain why. Yes, Kyrie was robbing, but he did put up 41. He was matching LeBron in points. He was his number two. He was the help. Now, when it matters most, if we're talking MVP, most valuable player, right? He didn't have Kyrie the year before. We lost. You have Kyrie. Granted, we went down 3-1, but Kyrie gets to playing stellar how he does and come back and win. And this is the part where people have to learn how to do simple math, right? The game was tied at 89. I remember I seen it with my own eyes. Like you cannot tell me anything different. And I've watched this game. I fall asleep watching this game. I fall asleep watching old games of that. So you can't tell me anything different. The game is tied up at 89, right? Let's just do simple math. If LeBron doesn't block a injured Andre Iguodala because his back was injured, if he doesn't block Andre Iguodala, the Warriors go up by 2 points. If Kyrie still comes down and hits that three, how many points are the Cavs up by at that point? One. Okay. And then LeBron James hit the free throws. Would have hit the free throws to steal the game. Now, maybe we would have only been up by 3, and with Stephen Curry, Klay Thompson, and those boys, that could have easily went into overtime. But Kevin Love locks up Steph Curry. Let's just run it as if things still happen, as if the block never happened. And if Kevin Love still locks up Curry, you got a championship. So either way, without the block, Kyrie's shot was needed. Somebody had to score the ball. You know what I'm saying? And it took from a young man who, everybody had a lot of bad stuff to say about. Bron had already proved himself as a champion. His career stat line, his stat line in that finals, though, does dictate a finals MVP. But I'm just saying, in that moment, coming back from 3-1, the way they did and the things that Kyrie did, that's kind of crazy. But once again, LeBron, 4 NBA championships, 4 NBA Finals MVPs. 4 NBA MVP compared to how many did Mike have? How many did Mike have, you guys? Does anybody remember? Does anybody remember? I remember. You remember? I remember. How many did Mike have, you guys? How many? Mike have 5 of those, buddy. Still one short. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So, oh, well, look at this. I've been proven wrong. I have been proven wrong. I don't know why I thought LeBron never won a scoring title, but I guess he did in 2000. Okay. Maybe he did. Maybe he did. Okay. Um, he doesn't. I don't think he has as many first team All NBAs as Mike. Still doesn't have a Defensive Player of the Year. Um, so there's some things I was wrong. LeBron was a scoring champion. Hmm. He has one. Okay. So let me stop with the cap. LeBron has one. I just schooled myself. Okay. I can admit when I'm wrong. I'm wrong. LeBron has a scoring title. Whatever, you guys. But how many did Michael Jeffrey Jordan have? Do I have to say it again? 10. Scoring title. 10. 10 to 1. We know who the better scorer is. Longevity doesn't save you. Okay? Now let's go to Magic. Magic Johnson. Magic had 5 championships, 3 MVP awards, 3 Finals MVP awards, and the legacy is the greatest passer. Okay, so not as many MVPs as LeBron in the finals. He's short one. Um, he's led the league in assists 4 times. I don't think LeBron has ever led the league in assists for as great as a passer he is. Um, his career was cut short in 19. So yeah, um, but I will give Magic his due justice for winning as a rookie. Okay. But yeah, so we covered about everything. This was about a 40-minute stream of me just ranting about these things. The next stream we're gonna do is gonna be strictly on the career of Kyrie Irving. I'll have my facts together next time, and we're gonna revisit this GOAT topic. Uh, I have somebody who's a LeBron believer, argue LeBron's point, and I'll debate Jordan and Magic, and we will go from there. And then all right, but let's finish the video off with just saying, uh, players today often say they would have cooked players in the past. Depending on the era, I'm not gonna lie to you, they would have. Let's just keep it real. Back in the day, you had players that went left and were dribbling right-handed like this. Going, okay? Today in the NBA, give me that. Give me that. Anybody would have looked like the glove back. But keeping it real, all the old players are saying is this. And I'm talking pre-Michael Jordan, get in the league to make people dial back on the physicality of the game. All these players are saying is, if we had the chance to shoot as many threes as they did, or we didn't get fouled like that, I would have averaged this. And rightfully so. They were held back by certain things. And check a lot of stuff. And this is Jordan's era we talking about. You know, come on up. Like, it's not just the old players saying it. It's players in like that 90s era that were saying the same thing. You think if like certain people like Kobe, a lot of people had the green light to just shoot as many threes as they shoot nowadays, they wouldn't have averaged more points or anything like that? Of course they would have. You know what I'm saying? That's all they're saying. If they had the opportunity that players today had, they would thrive too. So that's all those people are saying. Players that are old, I mean, players of today just want their respect, but at the end of the day, players of today can be a bit sensitive. You say something, you speak them a little bit. And granted, they should be able to say something and speak up for themselves. Like, to a certain extent, it's like, man, have some self-esteem. MJ didn't go off and do a lot of stuff. You know, when people said his gambling addiction got his father killed. You know, a lot of the stuff that was said about AI, a lot of the stuff that was said about a lot of these players. Granted, they didn't have social media back then and stuff. You know what I'm saying? So you really can't respond. You can't defend yourself. You can't go on the Stephen A show. You can't get on the podcast and defend yourself. You just have to hear people talking about you on TV and go out there and perform. You had no voice. Imagine being voiceless and just being told to shut up and dribble. And that's all you can do. And a lot of those old players went out there, and that's why they gave you buckets. Buckets. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, that I feel like this is a good stream, a good start. Next time I'll be a lot more coordinated. I'll write this stuff out. Today I just was like about to get on here and have a little random rant about this stuff. I'll be more specific of what we're gonna cover next time, how we're gonna cover it. So shout outs to everybody who joined the stream. And